going? I just wanted to get on here today and introduce you to myself and to what I want to accomplish with my channel over the next however long we are in this together. My name is Susan. I am going by Simply Susan, Historical Sewing, Cooking, and Living. And I just wanted to introduce you to me and just sort of give a little bit of information about what I am planning on showing you while we spend some time together. I have always been fascinated with history. I have always enjoyed crafting. I have always enjoyed sewing. I've always enjoyed making things with my hands and being creative. I started sewing with my mom when I was very young. We would go upstairs every Saturday night. We would do any kind of mending, ironing, and she was the one that really taught me how to enjoy doing things with my hands and making things. In my family, we also did a lot of, I guess, sort of old-fashioned cooking, a lot of very ethnic things, specifically Slovak cooking, recipes from my grandma, great-grandma, and all of those things are still parts of my life today and things that I enjoy very much. As I got older, I became more involved with the theater. Now, my involvement with the theater was mostly in the costume department. I made a lot of different costumes, did a lot of alterations to things, made a lot of things that worked for the stage. A lot of my sewing at that time, I think, and I don't mean this as any slight to anybody that does theater costuming, because I think in my mind it's a kind of a different area of sewing. But a lot of the things that I made were more what I would say costume quality, that from afar they would look really good, and that was what was important. But a lot of my detail work, finishing, those types of things definitely could use a little bit of refinement, and that's what I've been working on lately with some of my more recent projects, trying to become more detail-oriented and more refined, make sure that things are a little bit more polished and more finished, even from the backside that nobody sees. So that was sort of where my love for costuming and theater really developed. Some of my first bigger projects that I did for clothing items were Renaissance style gowns. Now granted, it was made from a pattern from the major 4, major 5 companies, and they weren't historically accurate. And frankly, I don't think a lot of what I do will be fully historically accurate, but that was what I was working with, and I was thrilled to be able to sit down for a couple of hours and make a garment that was wearable, usable, believable, that could transform a person into a completely different space, time, and just feeling. So I was very fascinated with that. I enjoyed that very much. Now, I've also become more interested through watching different YouTube videos. I've become more interested in the costume community and historical costuming and historical dress in those ways too. Some of my influences that I have been very interested in through the YouTube community is definitely Bernadette Banner, another channel called And So It Begins, SEW. She made an amazing tutorial about making the one gown that I recently just made, and it was so helpful. I can't even begin to thank her enough for all of the work that she did. And there's also so many other YouTubers that I enjoy watching and that you can just draw inspiration from. People that are so committed to living truly, authentically, and being who they are, even if it might be a little bit in a different step than some of the mainstream world. Some of those that I would just say, Morgan Donner, Rachel Maxey, and even I like to, well, I'm definitely Cathy Hay, And I also like very much watching the Townsends as they do more of cooking types of things and home building and different things like that. So those are just a few of the influences and things that have gotten me interested in doing some YouTube stuff from some of those inspirations. Now, I have a few notes. That's what I kind of keep looking at over here because I wanted to make sure that I said just a couple of different things as we talked this morning. I like to do a vast variety of different things, and I have a lot of different projects planned that I'm going to work on at the beginning of this channel and just sort of see where things go, how things develop, see what any of you are interested in. And if you have any suggestions or thoughts of things that you would particularly like to see, please let me know. But some of the things I have planned, I have some older British cookie recipes that I want to try. I also have a pattern for a skirt that I would like to make because it's something that I would very much like to be able to wear on a regular basis. And right now the project that I'm working on is a quilt, and that's just sort of where I'm going to be starting with. I'm going to be working my way through this quilt, and then as we get that finished up, we'll move on to some of the other projects that I had mentioned. I definitely have a deep appreciation for history, for the old-fashioned way that things were done, for how things were when people thought life was a little bit of a simpler time. As I go through some of these projects, I really wonder if it was all that much of a simpler time or if it was just a different time, because some of these projects can be so intricate and detail-oriented and intensive in their own way. So those are just some of the things that I plan to work on. Now, I will talk about my projects as I'm doing them. I will try to offer any tips, tricks, insight, inspiration for any projects that you may be doing. But I also want to just sort of talk about life, talk about different thoughts, feelings, how things are going. So I am just inviting you to join me on this journey. I am inviting you to please, if you are watching this, please click the subscribe button. Please like this video. Please watch this video. Leave me a comment. You can tell me anything at all. I would appreciate hearing from you and just knowing that somebody is watching and that somebody is interested in what I'm planning on doing. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, I would appreciate that very, very much. But yeah, let's get started on our first project. We are working on laying out the design for a quilt, and then we're going to start sewing that together. So I appreciate your time for watching this, and I hope that you join me on this journey, and I hope that you engage with me with sending comments of projects that you'd like to see, things that you would like to see take place, and I thank you for your time.